Yes, another tradition of art that became immensely popular in colonial India was portrait painting. The rich had the powerful, both British and Indian, wanted to see themselves on canvas, unlike the existing Indian tradition of painting portraits in miniatures. Colonial portraits were life-size images that looked lifelike and real. The size of the paintings itself projected the importance of the patrons who commissioned these portraits. This new style of portraiture also served as an ideal means of displaying the lavish lifestyles, wealth, and status that the empire generated. Next, picture 2 and 3 is a typical example of a picturesque landscape painted by the Daniels. Notice the ruins of local buildings that were once grand. The buildings are reminders of past glory, remain of a ancient civilization that was now in ruins. It was as if this decaying civilizations would change and modernize only though British governance. Next, this image of British rule burnings modern civilizations to India is powerfully emphasized in the numerous pictures of late 18th century's Calcutta drawn by the Daniel. In these drawings, you can see the making of a new Calcutta with wide avenues, majestic European style buildings, and new modes of transport. There is life and activity on the roads. There are drama and excitement. Look carefully at picture 2, 3, and 4. See how the Daniels contrast the image of traditional India with that of life under British rule. Picture 2 and 7 seek of represent the traditional life of India as pre-modern, changeless and motionless, typified by peculiar cows and boats sailing on the river. Picture 8 shows the modernizing influence of British rule by efficiencying a picture of dramatic change. Next, as portrait paintings became popular, many European portraits painters came to India in search of profitable commissions. One of the most famous of the Western European painters was John. He was born in Germany, migrated of England, and came to India in the mid 1780s for 5 years. Picture 4 and 5 are two examples of the portraits that Joffney painted. Notice the figures of Indian servants and the sprawling lawns of colonial mansions appear in such portraits. See how the Indians are shown as submissive, as inferior, as serving their white masters, while the British are shown as superior and imperious. They flaunt their clothes, stand raggedly, or sit arrogantly and live a life of luxury. Indians are never at the center of such paintings. They usually occupy a shadow background. Next, many of the Indian Nawab to begin commissioning imposing oil portraits by European painters. You have seen how the British posted resident in Indian courts and began controlling the affair of the state, undermining the power of the king. Some of these Nawab reacted against this interference, others accepted the political and cultural superiority of the British. They hoped to socialize with the British and adopt their style and tastes. Muhammad Ali Khan was one such Nawab after a war with the British in the 1770s. He became a dependent pensioner of the East India Company, but he nonetheless commissioned to visiting European artists Tilly Kettle and George Wilson to paint his portraits and gifted these paintings of the King of England and the directors of the East India Company. The Nawab had lost political power, but the portraits allowed him to look at himself as a royal figure. Look at the painting by Wilson. Notice the way Nawab pose and how he asserts his majesty. Stop.